All right, so we've done expressions, and we're going to move on to solving equations. But before we do that, we really need to make sure that we are so solid on, in an equation, which part is the constant and which part is the coefficient. Okay, so the point of this activity is to help you go through and identify those in the equation format, right? With our expressions, we didn't have an equal sign. They might have looked different. So we're going to make sure that when it looks like this, we know which part is what. Okay. So it says circle the constant. And if you need to, you can write a little note. The constant is the number by itself. Okay. And it says box the coefficient. And you can say that that's the number that multiplies the variable. Okay. And this is going to kind of be our format from here on out with equations of circling the constant and boxing the coefficient. So not only are we practicing to identify those in an equation, we're also practicing just how to use the steps and use our method. Okay. So the coefficient is the number that multiplies the variable. If there's no number there, the number is 1. I'm going to zoom in. There we go. And a little more focus. There it is. Okay. So every time you see a letter by itself, you need to write in a 1. Okay. The constant is the number by itself, and we have to include its symbol. So circle the constant. Plus 5 is my constant. Okay. And then you box the coefficient, the number that multiplies the variable. This is a positive one, so I also want you, if it's positive, to write a plus. We're going to box the coefficient. So the coefficient is positive 1. The constant was a positive or plus 5. Okay. So this is what I saw that we were struggling with expressions, was knowing, is it a plus 1 or is it a minus 1? I don't know. Okay, so that's also the purpose of this activity. Okay. So I'll do a few with you and then you'll do the rest on your own. Okay. So the coefficient is the number that's multiplying the variable. So we're dividing by 18. I did that earlier too. Okay. So we're dividing by 18. Okay. Now if you look, there's no constant. We're not adding or subtracting anything. So it's 0. Okay. So if it's dividing, you can just say divide 18. I know that we said that the coefficient is what multiplies it. But for our purposes, we'll just say divide 18. I want you just to recognize that fraction bars are division, and we're dividing by 18. And it's a positive 18. So go ahead and put a plus. All right. So here we have y minus 3 equals 7. We're going to circle the constant and box the coefficient. The constant is the number by itself, and I have to include its symbol. So this minus 3 is my constant. Okay. If there's no number in front of my variable, my coefficient is a positive 1. So write in positive 1, then we're going to box it. So our coefficient is positive 1. Okay. All right, so here we circle the constant and we box the coefficient. I don't have a constant, so there's nothing to circle. So my constant is 0. Okay. The coefficient is the number that's multiplying my variable. It's a positive 10, so I'm going to put plus 10 so that I know it's positive or plus. I'm going to box that plus 10. I'm going to write that my coefficient is plus 10. Right, so I'll let you do the rest since we kind of know about those already, but we're just identifying them in a different setting of equations. So circle the constant. If there's no constant, it's 0. Box the coefficient, and remember to include the symbols with it. Okay, so you have these 4, and then you have the back, and then you can check them.